Hey everyone, and welcome into my tier list video ranking the characters of Xenogears from best to worst in battle. In Xenogears, there are two types of battles. There's the on-foot character battles, and then also the gear battles, which are fought in the giant gear robots. Because of this, we're going to have two different character tier lists in this video. One for character battles on foot, and then a second tier list for the gear battles where you fight in the giant gear robots. First, we're going to start off with the on-foot character battle tier list. So we're going to be ranking the characters fighting on foot, not in the gears. So first character we're going to be covering is going to be the protagonist, Faye of Xenogears. He is going to be the first character that we're ranking and talking about on the tier list. So, Faye, he's going to be in your party a lot throughout the game. The reason why is that you're forced to use him at many different parts of the game. He is a good character on foot in battle. He gets really well-rounded stacks, and he can do pretty good damage. However, I would not say he is one of the absolute best characters in the game. When it comes to on-foot battles, there are definitely other characters who outperform him in battle. He's still a good character, but he's not one of the absolute best. Overall, for Faye's placement on the tier list, we're going to place him in the great tier, but he's not quite in the amazing tier. Now we're going to cover the next character, which is going to be Saiden Uzuki. Saiden is, without a doubt, when it comes to on-foot battles in Xenogears, one of the best characters in the entire game. Saiden has incredibly high speed, making him able to get turns very fast, and if you equip the speed shoes item on him, he gets his turns even quicker. Not only does he have really high speed, he can do good damage, and he's also able to heal. He's overall one of the best characters in the game when it comes to on-foot battles. Not only is all that good about him and really good overall, but around the end of Disc 1, he gets a sword weapon that he uses the rest of the game, and when he gets that, he becomes even more powerful. Needless to say, Saiden is absolutely one of the best characters when it comes to on-foot battling in Xenogears, and he's going to be at the top of the tier list, absolutely. The next character we are going to be talking about is going to be the character Ellie. So Ellie, when it comes to on-foot battles, she struggles a little bit with physical attack damage, but her spells help her keep up with the stronger physical attack characters when it comes to on-foot battles. Now, when it comes to gear battles, it's a very different story with her in terms of her power, but right now we're just talking about on-foot battles. A really good magic caster character, but struggles a lot when it comes to physical attack damage. If you get to an area in the game where enemies have very high magic defense, then Ellie can struggle really bad. But aside from that, she's a decent character on foot. Not nearly as good as she is in a gear, but she is still a decent character, and her magic power helps her keep up with some of the stronger physical characters in the game. That being said, I would say when it comes to on-foot battles, I would say that Ellie is a decent on-foot character, but not one of the absolute best. Alright everybody, the next character we are going to be covering is going to be Rico. Rico gets higher strength than other characters, but he has very slow speed. He is slower than almost every other character in the game, and even though his strength is a little bit higher than other characters, his strength really isn't that much higher than other characters in the game. And so because of that, you have a really slow character who's supposed to make up for it by having higher strength, but his strength isn't really that much higher, so he's a slow character who barely does more damage each time he attacks, and he unfortunately falls behind and pales in comparison to other characters when it comes to on-foot battles because of his flaws that he has. Overall, I'm going to place Rico in the OK tier. He's got a lot of problems. He's not the worst character in battle though. He still has a few strengths to make up for his weaknesses, but overall he's definitely one of the weaker characters when it comes to on-foot battles in Xenogears. Next character we are going to be covering is going to be Billy. Billy is a character who also gets healing magic, kind of like Saiden. He fights using guns, And he is another really good on-foot battle character. I would say he's one of the better on-foot battle characters in the game because he does pretty good damage. He can do healing, and he's also just very well-rounded in battle. Overall, when it comes to Billy in on-foot battles, he is really, really good, and I'm going to put him in the great tier. He is a great character to have along in your group, and it's always a good choice to choose him and bring him along with you. Now, the next character is going to be Choo Choo. Choo Choo, we know, is the silly mascot character of the game. And unfortunately, when it comes to battles, especially on-foot battles, Choo Choo might be the worst character in Xenogears. Choo Choo just gets really bad stacks, really cannot do that great of damage, and overall has a ton of flaws. Choo Choo is a little bit better in gear battles, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for on-foot character battles, probably the overall worst character in the game. Overall, this character I am going to unfortunately place in the bad tier. Next character we are covering is going to be Maria Balthazar. Maria is a character who is really good in gear battles, but for on-foot character battles kind of struggles. So at first, when you look at Maria, she has a number of flaws. She has low HP, low speed, low attack power, no death blows, and low defense and ether defense. So what makes her good? Well, with the right setup, you can do a lot of damage with her ether abilities. You have to have the right setup with her though. And because of her low speed, if enemies go first and her low defense, she might get killed before she gets a chance to kill those enemies in one turn. So a very high risk, high reward character. Her low speed definitely hurts her. She has a lot of flaws to her, but she can do very good damage with the right setup. Overall, I would place Maria in the okay tier. Not one of the best characters, but also not one of the worst characters either. Emeralda is going to be the next character we are going to be covering. So Emeralda is a character you get later in the game. And when you first get her, she is kind of average in her stacks, but there is a side quest that you can do where Emeralda becomes adult Emeralda, and when that happens, she gets a massive power boost and becomes one of the best characters in the game. She gets overall very high stacks, very good damage output, very fast in battle. Overall, Emeralda is going to be placed in the amazing tier. Now we're at the final character to cover for the on-foot character battles. That is going to be Bart. Bart is an average character in terms of battle. He's a little bit on the slower side. He does get some really good ether abilities like Wild Smile, which can help a lot. It can lower enemy accuracy and make them miss a lot of attacks. Overall, Bart is an average character, I would say. He's not one of the best, but he's also not one of the worst characters. You could definitely make a worse choice than him to bring along in your group. Overall, for on-foot character battles, Bart is going to be placed in the okay tier. So now we got the first character tier list done for on-foot character battles. Now we're going to swap over to the gear battle tier list. This is going to be ranking the characters in the game on a tier list from best to worst in the gear battles of the game with the giant gear robots. Alright, so first character we're going to be covering on the gear battle tier list is going to be Ellie. Ellie can be one of the most powerful characters in the entire game when it comes to gear battles. You have to get her the right setup though. If you get her some ether doublers and power magic pieces of equipment for her gear, and then you cast her Eric spell, you will do absolutely game-breaking damage and you will be able to kill some bosses in one turn or 2 or 3 turns at most. She can do insane amounts of damage with her gear with the right setup. Overall, on the gear battle tier list, Ellie's going to be placed in the amazing tier. Next character we're going to be covering on the gear battle tier list is going to be Emeralda. Emeralda is another top tier character in gear battles. Once you do the side quest where she becomes adult Emeralda and she gets a massive power boost, she becomes one of the best characters in gear battles. Really good speed, really good damage, really good ether abilities, really good stacks. Overall, one of the best characters in the entire game. So Emeralda is definitely going in the amazing tier, just like Ellie, another really great character. Next up on the gear battle tier list, we are going to be ranking the main character of the game, Faye. Faye, when it comes to gear battles, I would say with his first gear, Weltall, he's kind of average. He doesn't get anything like really amazing about him, but he's still kind of okay. Then when he gets his later gears in the game, he gets a lot better when he gets the special abilities like System Id, which allows him to become a lot more powerful in battle. Faye's final gear that you get near the very end of the game is really powerful. It's called Xenogears, just like the title of the game. It's really good when you get it, but it takes all the way until near the very end of the game to get it, unfortunately. Ultimately, I'm going to rank Faye in the great tier. Saiden Uzuki is going to be the next character we are covering for the gear battle tier list. Now, in on-foot battles, Saiden is unquestionably one of the best characters in the game. Unfortunately for gear battles, Saiden is not nearly as powerful as he is on foot. Overall, his gear stacks are kind of average. He doesn't have the incredible speed like he does in character battles on foot. He also doesn't have really high damage output like some of the other gears in the game. And he falls behind kind of in damage by the end of the game compared to other characters. Saiden overall I'm going to place in the OK tier for the tier list for gear battles. Unfortunately, in gear battles, Saiden does not do as good as he does in character on foot battles. Alright, next character we are going to be covering for the gear battle tier list is going to be Maria. Maria is definitely better in gear battles compared to on foot character battles. Maria's speed in gear battles is very low, kind of like Rico's. But the good news is that she gets a lot of power to make up for that. I wouldn't say she's one of the absolute best characters when it comes to gear battles, but she's definitely good, so I'm going to put her in the great tier. And overall, a good choice for your team, but not one of the best choices. Next up is going to be Choo Choo. That's going to be the next character we are ranking for the gear battle tier list. Choo Choo is not that great in gear battles either, kind of like how she's not that great in character battles. But she does get one good thing that makes her stand out. So the one good thing with Choo Choo is that you can use her Force Stance spell to heal up gears. So that is one good thing, but outside of that, she doesn't really stand out in any other way. You can kind of make her mediocre, but not good or great if you invest a lot of money into the proper setup for her, but overall, not that good of a character. I'm going to put her in the bad tier on the gear battle tier list. Alright, next up we're going to cover Rico when it comes to gear battle tier list. Rico, unfortunately, is not that good in gear battles either. He's a little bit better in his gear, but overall not that good. So he's a lot slower than other characters, but he also is supposed to make up for it in power, but the reality is that he ties with many other gears for power. Many of those other gears outspeed his gear, and so those characters can get their turn quicker, and they can do just as much damage, if not even more damage than he can. Needless to say, Rico has a lot of problems in gear battles as well. He's way too slow, and he just doesn't have the power to back it up. He overall can't compare when other characters get gears that are a lot faster, and they can do as much damage, if not even more damage than he can. Overall, I'm going to put him in the OK tier. He's not that great in gear battles. He unfortunately has a lot of problems, and other characters can do a lot of the stuff he can, but even better. Next character we are going to be covering for the gear battle tier list is going to be Billy. Billy, when it comes to gear battles, is very good. If you give him the right equipment and you boost his ether power a lot with ether doublers and power magics, he can do a ton of damage in gear battles. And he also can do a lot of damage with the Jesse cannon that he gets later in the game. With the Jesse cannon, Billy can do as much damage as Ellie can with the Eric's ability. With the Jesse cannon, he becomes incredibly powerful later in the game in gear battles. Overall, Billy is a fantastic character to use in gear battles. I'm going to put him in the amazing tier. He is definitely one of the best characters for gear battles in the game. And now, everybody, we got the last character to rank in the gear battles tier list, which is going to be Bart. Bart in gear battles is pretty okay. He gets a little bit low speed, but if you set him up with some ether stuff like ether doublers and power magics, he can be pretty good with ether abilities. His wild smile ability is very good, especially earlier in the game, so that can be a very good ether ability for him to use in battles. Overall, I'm going to rank Bart in the OK tier for the Gear Battles tier list. He's an OK character. I wouldn't say he's one of the best, but he's also not one of the worst. He's pretty good. He can definitely have his uses. He's not the worst choice, but he's also not one of the best. But he still is pretty good for battle. And if you like the character a lot, then hey, definitely use him. Overall, I want to say thank you all so much for watching my Xenogears character ranking video. I really greatly appreciate it. Let me know who some of your favorite characters are in the game. Who do you think are the best characters in the game for character battles and gear battles? If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more RPG content. Thank you all very much, and I will see you all in the next video.